Everyone has a story to tell, something that defines them even though it may not be apparent to the eye. This is the story of Yoonmei and Yongook, who came to America and became Shelby and Garrett Redfield.
My name is Shelby Redfield, and I'm a senior at the Dreyfoos School of the Arts.
My name is Garrett Redfield. I am a sophomore at Dreyfoos School of the Arts.
Well, the difference between me and other kids my age and my friends is that, I'm adopted. I was born in Korea, and then I was brought over to America, and my American parents adopted me. And they also adopted my brother, Garrett, too. So, I don't know. We're different on the outside, definitely. I kind of remember when Garrett came over from Korea, and we went and picked him up at the airport, and I wanted to hold him.
I also remember she always pulled at my socks when I first came. And about a week after they had me, Shelby said he can go back now.
Oh, it was 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks after they got me.
And also when I was a little girl, maybe 6 years old, I remember I thought I was a princess and that someday my my biological parents would come back and find me and then I'd go be the princess of Korea.
I used to always tell my mom and dad saying that my mom and dad were the chief of police and how they always, I don't know, I guess back then I was fascinated with police cars and stuff like that. And my mom and dad would always just go along with what they said, saying, yeah, I agree, Garrett.
I resented my biological mother for giving me up. I mean, how can someone give up their own child? And I just felt like I was rejected. Every time I would talk to my parents about it, my adoptive parents, they would always keep saying to me, well, she gave you up out of love to give you a better opportunity, a life where you can do things, not a life of poverty where I wouldn't have been even able to go to school because since my biological mother had me without being married, I wouldn't have been a citizen.
I'd always enter the cafeteria and I think there was sometimes other Asian kids there and I don't think it was mainly them, but others would scream out, hey, China boy. And I'd just be really hurt by that. I'd go to my lunch table and just sit down and just wonder, why are they making fun of me? But then I guess I never realized that I was adopted. I think just one day they just, I guess I was asking some of them questions about who I was. And they just one day handed me a folder and said, here, Garrett, you're adopted. Here's a folder about everything that we know about you. And I took it and I went to a table in my room and I just sat down and just read through it and got to know who I was.
Some of the kids would actually ask me, well, why did your mother give you up? And I mean, I was just really young. I mean, I really didn't understand why she did. And it hurt when people would ask me those questions.
I think it all started with me and Shelby always wanting, after we found out that we were adopted, saying, oh, we always want to go back and visit our home country and see where we came from. And I guess it started from there. So Mom and Dad contacted our adoption agency. They got some information, and we found out that there was going to be a tour of Korea with a whole bunch of different adoptees from all across America.
Just preparing to go to Korea took so much energy and effort and talks with each other, within our family about what to expect, what to feel, to know that it's going to be so emotional. And one of the questions that they asked is, do you want to search for your birth mother? And of course for me, I've always wanted to meet my birth mother, and I know Garrett has too. So we said yes.
On that letter they said, that they couldn't locate my birth mother, that she supposedly wrote the wrong address. I guess at that point I was hurt by it, knowing that I wouldn't be able to see her at all. But seeing my foster mother sort of closed that gap in a way.
For my biological mother, she couldn't tell her husband that she was going to go meet me. In fact, there was this, I wouldn't say it was a law, but maybe kind of a custom that 15 or 18 years ago, if a mother wanted to get remarried if her husband had died, she would have to give her children up for adoption. She couldn't keep them. I was so scared and nervous that it wouldn't turn out the way I wanted it, that I wouldn't get the closure that I needed or wanted from the meeting. And so we finally walked forward, and I met my biological mother along with my biological aunt because she brought her for support. And she just looked me right in the eyes, and she just held me for a long time. And she was talking in Korean the whole time. I didn't know anything she was saying, but we had the interpreters there. And so we sat down and we had a meeting. A lot of the stuff that was talked about kind of went over my head because I was just so overwhelmed with everything that was going on. The fact that my dream was coming true. I was actually meeting the woman who carried me for 9 months and tried to keep me for 2 months even. And she told me, I found out that I was her last child and her only girl. And I had 2 older half-brothers. And I thought that was very special. So in a way, I was kind of a princess because I was the only girl. Yep. And then, because it was going so well, we took them out for lunch at a Chinese restaurant. And then when we got back, they wanted to take me shopping. And of course I said yes. I would just do anything with her, anything for her. So I went with her and her sister, and then we also brought a social worker along. But we had no interpreters. So it was like an hour and a half shopping with her talking to me, looking me straight in the eye, and I didn't understand a word she was saying.
But the social worker brought a little pamphlet of Korean translation in it, so she tried to make it. And one thing that I'll never forget that Shelby's birth mother told me was, look on to me like I was your birth mother. And that really touched me a lot.
Hopefully I want to go to college next year, and I want to study law because I'm in the debate team.
For my future life, I guess I plan to be a United Nations representative, and hopefully being in speech and debate will help me achieve that goal.